Hi, and thank you to everyone who submitted a question for the Ask Pataki Twitter feed. We've gotten a huge number of questions. Because of that, I'm going to host a live response next Monday, July 13th at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, where you can ask Pataki, and I'll do my best to answer the questions live on Twitter. First comes from Christopher Roche in New Jersey. His question, Governor Pataki, how did September 11th change you as a leader and as a person? September 11th was something that I don't think anyone anticipated could happen at a time of peace in the United States in a city like New York. And one of the things that struck me right away was the tremendous courage with which New Yorkers and Americans responded. For all the horror and for all the loss and for all the tragedy, the way in which that day and for days and weeks thereafter people responded, putting aside their own cares and their own concerns, really taught me a lot about the strength of the American people in times of adversity. We also, of course, learned about evil. And there are those who are out there who detest everything America stands for. On September 11th, we understood we're all in this together. We have a common future, a common destiny. And when we stand together, we can accomplish anything. Sean Perkins in Bountiful, Utah. What would you do as president that would motivate the undecided voter to choose you over Hillary? First of all, I can beat Hillary. I got elected governor of New York State 3 times running as a Republican on the Conservative Party as well as the Republican Party line. New York is one of the deepest blue states. I could win there. I know I can win nationally if I had the Republican nomination. Second, it's not simply about winning the election. It's about changing government. There are those who talk about gridlock and paralysis or how Washington has grown so big you can't change it. They said the same thing about New York. And when I left, we had cut taxes by more than the other 49 states combined. We had reduced the size of the state workforce by over 15%. We had reduced the welfare rolls by over 1 million people and had almost 700,000 more private sector jobs. So I have the opportunity to lead this country. I won't just manage it. I will change it and reduce its size, its cost, and its imposition on the American people. What is the preeminent concern for the next president? We're going to change the way Washington functions. You serve in Congress, you will have a lifetime ban on ever being a lobbyist. You pass a law in Congress that applies to the American people, you're going to have to live under that law yourself. No exemptions for the privileged in Washington. We're going to take back the country. And by the way, we're going to make America safe and make us feel safe by controlling our border, make sure immigrants come here legally and not illegally, and by making sure that those who threaten our security here, like ISIS, have no safe havens from which to attack us. Nancy Castaldo in Albany, New York. My concern is for our global environment. Is climate change for real, and do we contribute to it? I'd hate to see our climate dismissed in this race by Republicans. I do believe we are changing the makeup of the atmosphere. There's no question human activity has resulted in the highest levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere since humans began walking this earth. At the best, we don't know the consequences, but it does pose the risk that we will see the earth get warmer, the oceans get warmer, currents and weather patterns change. And for that reason, I'm for taking intelligent steps. Let me just give you one example. As we have now, through the private sector, developed massive new sources of natural gas through the fracking system, we are able to replace oil and diesel and coal with natural gas in a way that makes economic sense, in a way that makes financial sense, and at the same time significantly reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. That's the type of innovation I want to see America to continue to develop, to lead the world in our ability and our commitment to have a cleaner environment. Bo Harriman from Colleyville, Texas asks, Robb Stark or Jon Stark? My kids are all Game of Thrones nuts, and let me say that my favorite, not surprising, was the father, Ned Stark, and sadly he as well has moved on from the show. But I'm also a Lord of the Rings fans, and Gandalf came back. So it wouldn't shock me if next season Robb Stark somehow comes back as well. I certainly hope so. Well, thank you again to everyone. Keep the questions coming, and don't forget that a week from this coming Monday, July 13th, 12 o'clock Eastern Time, we're going to be doing live Twitter feeds. You ask me questions, I'll do my best to answer. Thank you very much.